Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to show you today how to do a factory reset on Cisco Catalyst 9348 Power over Ethernet port. Depends on your OS version of that switch. You might use another set of commands, for example, factory reset all, to do a factory reset on the entire switch. But we found out for our version, which is 16.6.6, the command reset is going to do the work, and then we have to make sure that we also erase a startup configuration because it might contain a proprietary data that you might not want to kind of leave on the switch, especially if you're giving it away. So before we can do any factory reset, we have to do some preparation work. We need a switch on which to actually do a reset. Then we need a console cable and we need a power cable. Console cable, we're going to use the older version, which is RJ45. These switches, they still have RJ45 console connection to connect this console cable. And the power cable that we're going to be using is a standard Cisco power cable, but the normal power supply cable will not work because it doesn't have this indentation. So you have to use a Cisco power connector to connect to the switch. And then we're going to be using a mode button right here on the front of the switch. And while we are connecting a power at the back of the switch, we're going to keep on pressing and releasing this mode button right here. On some of the older switches and some other switches, uh, in order to go into the reset mode on the switch while you're powering it on, you have to press mode button and keep on holding it down while the switch is turning on. In our scenario, in our case, we have to press and release the button to go into a reset mode. So we are plugging the console cable into RJ45 port on the back of the switch, which is marked with blue. So blue console cable goes into the blue port, and this is how it's going to look like after it's plugged in. And now we are ready to plug in the USB port of that cable to our computer. Once we plug it in, it will take few minutes for the drivers to be installed. And once the drivers are installed, we have to open a device manager. There are a few ways to open a device manager. I'm going to use this way, which is right click on this PC and then click on manage. Once that screen will come on, I'm going to bring it over and expand device manager, wrap down network adapters because we are not interested in them and we are interested in communication port. USB cable that we plugged in into the computer is going to be assigned a communication port number. In our scenario, once we plug it in into the computer, COM6 was the port number that was assigned to our cable. This is the port number we're going to be using when we're going to be configuring PuTTY. So now we are ready to actually configure PuTTY. PuTTY is a software that is being used to connect to CLI or command prompt of the switch. So you can actually open any of your browsers, you can type in PuTTY, and it will lead you to the website where you can download one. I don't like to install the one that's going to put a registry key into the registry. I like to use a portable version, just download the executable and just run it on the computer. So I'm going to double click on that, open it up, and I'm going to change the settings of serial port right here. And instead of COM1, which is the default, I'm going to select COM6. This is what my system assigned to the cable that was plugged in that goes to the back of the switch. I also like to change the colors. I like to use default foreground instead of gray. I like to use black. That will be the text color. And default background will be the color that is going to be the color of the screen. Right, so we're going to use that. Now we are ready to start our session. When we click on session, make sure serial is selected, make sure COM6 is displayed, and we are ready to start. At this point, since our switch is actually still powered down, there will be nothing displayed on the screen. I'm going to expand it, make it a little bit larger for us to see more. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually show you what I'm going to be doing while I'm plugging in the power. So like I mentioned, in front of the switch, there is this mode button, right? As I'm going to be plugging in the power connector to the back of the switch, I'm going to have my PuTTY right here because this is going to be indicating to me at what process I'm in, at what step I'm in. So because I will have to press the mode button and release it until switch is going to be showed on the PuTTY. And I'm going to show it to you in a moment. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to kind of show you in the front. I'm using here a pencil right here to demonstrate. You can use pencil, you can use your finger to do that. I found it a little easier to use a pencil to kind of press and release it until the switch is going to be shown on the screen. So at this moment, I'm ready to plug in the power cable to the switch itself, power it on, and with my finger, what I'm going to be doing on the front of the switch, I'm going to be pressing and releasing the mode button until switch is shown on the screen, and I'm going to show it to you. As you can hear on the background, the fans are coming on because I just plugged in the power cable to the back of the switch, and I'm pressing and releasing the mode button on the front with my finger actually. And so as we can see, just in a few minutes on the PuTTY screen, there will be initializing hardware and it will be displayed one more time. And then it's going to take just a few minutes for the bootloader to come on the screen. And it depends on the CPU and your memory that you have, and also how much information had been loaded as far as the operating system of the switch. It just might take a few minutes. So while we are waiting, I keep on pressing and releasing the mode button, the one that you can see on the screen, a round black button to the right of Cisco word. Okay, so the bootloader is coming into play, and I'm keep on pressing and releasing the mode button. Okay, and now we are at the switch prompt. So at this point, I stop pressing and releasing the mode button because at this point, we are actually ready to run our command. So I'm going to bring in our command list right here, and we're going to copy the first command, which is switch ignore startup configuration 1. We're going to copy, we're going to put it here, we're going to paste it, right, and we're going to hit enter, and then we're going to put reset. So this what's going to do is going to actually reset the username, the password, and it's going to let us go into the configuration mode once again, and then we're going to be able to check the startup configuration and see if they are still the old ones, and then be able to erase those. So I'm going to hit enter. Do you wish to reset? I'm going to say yes and hit enter once again, and then the system is going to restart. So it's going to go through the initializing hardware steps once again, and it will just take a few minutes. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to pause the video, and then I'm going to come back once once the switch is reloaded. All right, I think we are here ready at the point that all the password, the username, the password had been reset. All we need to do is just to confirm that the startup configuration are also erased. So we're going to do show startup configuration, and as we can see, right, the startup configuration, they're still old ones. So what we need to do, we're going to go out of this command, and then we're going to do another set of commands, and that is erase startup configuration, right? And we're going to use this command. Okay, confirm, hit enter one more time, complete, and then we're going to do reload, right? Another command, which is here, copy, and then we're going to do reload. That's it, confirm, and we are about to reload. So the switch is going to pause for a moment, and then it's going to restart once again, and then once the restart is coming up, it will just take a few minutes. Once the reload will happen, all the startup configuration should be gone completely, and you should be ready to repurpose the switch or to sell it or to give it to somebody else. Thank you for watching.